Hi, it's Lianne, the crafty little ninja, and today I'm actually working with some air dry clay. So this air dry clay can be found at all of your Ben Franklin locations, and I'm using this to show you how to make this little coral under the water scene with also acrylic paints and a little bit of the netting from the beach section. So the first thing we can try to make is this kind of rock or sand looking effect, I guess. And so it's pretty easy peasy to make. I have some soft clay I'm warming up with my sweaty hands, but what you can do is you get your air dry clay and I let it sit out for a little while, and all you have to do is kind of rip it apart. And this air dry is like a paper clay, so it's not when you rip it like this, it has all this awesome texture. And so I like to just let it dry out a little bit so it's not super soft, and when you rip it, it has all of this rough effect, and that's kind of what's going to give you this rock looking formation over here. So you could leave it white, or you could also color it with acrylic paint beforehand. So I'm going to just rip some of these shreds up and put it on the side to let it sit and look like rocks, like how they should. And let's say we're gonna put it on a light switch. I don't know if you guys have a light switch here, but I'm just gonna put it on there just to have like a place so I know where it's gonna go. Make it kind of similar to that. And you know, especially since it's organic, you can do whatever you want. Let's make a little starfish. So I've made this one, it's already dry, and it's just a white one. But it's super simple to make. So, you know, we're gonna make some stuff to go on top of the coral here. So all you gotta do is get a soft piece of your air dry clay. Don't let it get too dry. And you start pinching like a star. So you just pinch 5 legs like that. And that's the beginning of it. It looks pretty, not like a starfish, but it'll get there. You can just use a toothpick to make little textures here. So I'm just gonna poke some holes in the legs. And all the starfish have different textures, so you can do it however you want. And you just gotta let that dry, and that can go right there. And then we can also make, I'm gonna make this pretty, I call it like it's either like a brain coral or ribbon coral. I don't know the terminology, but I'm gonna do something like this, and it's super simple to make. So I'm gonna take some of my soft clay. If it gets a little bit dry, you just have to add a little bit of water and it'll soften up so it won't dry out too fast. So I'm gonna roll it out into a really long snake. And then you just flatten it out. You can use your fingers, you can use, that will work. But then it's gonna get stuck to the paper. So I'll just use my fingers. So you just want it like a ribbon. And then you just fold it like that. And you kind of pinch the bottom. And that gives you like a ribbon-like effect. So you can make maybe 2 of them, and this one's gonna be a little bit smaller. And then I just put them together, and it kind of has like that that ribbon effect. And so that's going to be another thing I could add to my coral scene. And I guess the last thing we could add is some seaweed. So right now I'm just using all white clay, and then I'm going to paint it after. But as I said, you could also color it beforehand with like acrylic paints. So let me show you how to do one, and then I have some pre-colored already. So you can take any acrylic paint, and I'm gonna just put a lot, I guess. Take some off, there you go. It's gonna get a little messy, but just have a lot of paper towels and things. And just have fun, get your stress out, just mash it together like that, and add as much paint as you want. So I'm just gonna have a really light green, and this will be totally fine. So this is if you don't want to paint your white clay after. So for the seaweed, you're gonna make another snake, but it's gonna be longer and tapered, so more pointy on one end. And so you can just kind of just coax it and make it thin. And I'm gonna flatten this one again too. Oops, there we go. And for the seaweed, to give it a 3D look, you just, after you flatten it, you just kind of spin it in your fingers a little bit, and it's gonna look like seaweed. So you can see how that's already, you know, does half the work for you. You don't have to paint it after. So that's like the first stage of putting a little air dry clay under the water scene together.